Hi guys, this is a video about the layers. One of the most powerful things about Photoshop is the ability to stack different images on top of each other and do different things to them, which is what a layer is basically. I've made just an image here, so I call it a composite image, and it's got different layers, different things on it. So I'm going to show you all about these things at the moment. So the layer panel, or the layer toolbar is, I'll go to this one first, is this down the bottom right here. Now, firstly, when you open a JPEG, it makes its own layer, background layer, and you usually have to unlock it to edit it. I've already done all this stuff. If you want to create a new layer that you can draw on, this is this button down here. So if you click on that, it'll make you a new layer. Renaming it is easy, and you should rename it. You can just double click and you can write new. Okay, so naming your layers saves a bit of trouble when you're trying to rearrange stuff a bit later on. Okay, so layers can also be locked. Okay, so for example, the background layer is locked here, which means it can't be changed. Okay, which basically, if you want to edit this background layer, you've got to click on it. Whoops, sorry, it's a double click. Never mind. Oh, there it is. That's how you lock a layer. So if you click on that to unlock it, you just click it. Okay, so that's locking a layer. If you want to keep it as it is, lock it. Deleting it is as simple as right click and delete layer. Okay, sometimes that's useful. Now opacity. So this little window here is opacity. So opacity is how transparent something is. So you can change that. So 100% means you can see it 100%. You can use this slider function, and you can sort of disappear, and 0 means it's completely see-through. Okay, so you can use the slider and drag it back up to whatever you want. Okay, I won't go through all of these, just the main ones. I wanted to talk about opacity. Now, the next thing is I wanted to talk about transformation. So often this layer here, so I'm looking at this spaceship layer here, is not the right position or the right size or the right orientation. So Control T is the transform tool. Okay, so it'll give you this little handles here that you can do all sorts of things with. You can drag it out. Now you notice that if I drag it like this, it stretches it. If you don't want to stretch it, hold down Shift and it'll keep it at the same aspect ratio, it's called. Okay, so also Control T again. If you want to rotate, so if you want to sort of turn it a bit, if you hover out, you can change the angle as well. So I'm just holding down the mouse button and clicking it. Okay, and you tick to accept. Okay, so that's moving and scaling. Okay, so moving around and changing the size and orientation. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about was the order of these layers. So basically, these are a stack of images on top of each other. Okay, now I'll go to, how will I do this? So basically this is the top of the stack. Okay, so if you hold down and drag, I'm going to place that at the bottom of the stack, which means that this background image is on top. Okay, so the spaceship is behind it now. Now the other thing I should show you is the layer visibility. So I can turn these off. Okay, so you can sort of see that my spaceship's still there. It's just behind it. You can turn both of them. So if you can't see something, it's probably because it's on the bottom of the stack. Okay, so that's the order of the layers. Now the last thing, or one more thing, these are two separate layers. Often if you wanted to do something to it together, you need to do something called merging a layer. Okay, so to merge a layer, which is to put these both on the same thing in the spot that you see them, you highlight both the layers, okay, or two or more, and you right click, you merge layers. Okay, so what that means is Photoshop will put it into one thing. Okay, so sometimes that's useful. You'll notice that I can't move the spaceship around anymore. It's all one layer, so I might actually undo that. Oops. Okay, so merging layers is sometimes useful if you want to create an effect or a filter, do a filter on the whole image. Now, one last thing, I'm going to do, I'm going to move this up here. Okay. I'm going to show you how to put so a layer from another image. Okay, so I've got two files here, this one and this one. So I want to put these two together. Now this one I've already modified. This is obviously Melbourne. I've done a quick select and delete of the background. Okay, so I want to put these images, okay, I'll just zoom out a bit, into this photo. In fact, I'm going to put this layer, okay, I'll rename it Melbourne Skyline. Okay, and I want to put this into my space picture. So I've got this stuff in there. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I like to do it by right-clicking on the layer, make sure it isn't locked, and I'm going to duplicate it, okay, because that keeps it in my original file. So duplicate layer, okay, you have to nominate the file it goes into. So I want space HD up here, okay, and I'm going to go okay. All right, so it doesn't look like anything happened, but when you go over here, you'll see that we have this image of Melbourne on the other one. Okay, it's not quite the right size. Now, something you have to be aware of, that they're almost never the right size unless you've done something with the files. So we use our transform tool. Okay, so remember that was Control T. Okay, and we're going to, I really don't like stretching photos, so I always hold down Shift when I do it. Okay, and I might move it down a little bit, hold down Shift again, move it down, and I'm going to go accept. All right, so I've used the quick selection tool to get rid of the background of this image. It's not the greatest job. There's better ways to do this. I'm just showing you the functionality. So just the last thing I wanted to show you with composite pictures, in terms of this stacking. Okay, you'll notice that, oops, okay, you have to click on. All right, so you notice that at the moment, okay, because my Melbourne Skyline is on top of the stack, my spaceship sort of goes behind it. Okay, imagine this is on top, this is next, and this is last. All right, so say if I wanted that in front, okay, of the building. So if you drag it up to the top, okay, now because it's on the top, it overlaps the building there. Okay, so that's layers. Have a play around, make a few composite pictures of your own, and good luck.